Hello, beautiful beings. So today I'm doing an energy reading for the collective conscious. Today is July 16th, I believe, and I am going to see what Spirit wants to say to us, what we need to hear. I'm also going to be starting a new thing in my own spiritual practice, but I wanted to try it out on here and see how it works for you guys. So each day of the week, I have allotted a certain chakra to each day. So for instance, Sunday is root chakra, Monday is sacral, Tuesday is solar plexus, and so on. So each of those days I am going to be honoring a certain chakra, working with that energy. I'm going to tap into that aspect of myself and really go deep so that each part of me every single week gets attention. I'm going to be doing this with crystals, with the colors I put around me, my thought processes, the foods I eat, everything. So over the course of the week, I will explore each aspect of myself. So I thought we could do this with the readings and get them a little more specifically honed for the collective and see kind of where we're at. So today being Monday, we are going to be working on the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is about feeling, it's about pleasure, it's about sensuality, it's about creation, it's about expression of the physical. I'm already feeling it. So today's reading is going to be specifically about the sacral chakra, what it is we need to look at, what's the main energy, what's going to help us, and what's going to hinder us when it comes to expressing our sacral chakra. So that is what we're going to look at. Today I'm using the Star Child Tarot. I am loving this deck. It's really, really yummy. So I need some water. So we are going to lay this out here and see where our sacral chakra is at and what it is we need to look at and hone. All right, ooh, lots of cards coming out here. All right, so today's main energy for the sacral chakra is Page of Wands in reverse. Interesting. So the Page of Wands for me is about fieriness. There's a playful aspect. There's a creative aspect. So I'm really feeling like a lot of us aren't tapping into our true creative potential within our sacral chakra. We're not opening it up. We're not connecting to it. A lot of our creation comes from the mind, and we're not really connecting into our creative center. What's going to help us shift that is the Serenity card or the Hermit card. Interesting. So I feel like this is about kind of like what I was saying. We're not really tapping in. We're not becoming present with our creative sexual center. So maybe it's time to get quiet. Maybe it's time to have a conversation with your womb or your phallus or your reproductive organs, whatever feels good for you, and really connect in. What is that aspect of yourself trying to express onto the planet? Is there wounding there? Is there a reason why it's shut down? Is there a reason why it's too hyperactive? I personally feel, and this is something Teal Swan talks about, is you can never have your chakras be too expansive. You can express lots of energy. The problem is when one's too expansive and the rest are closed off, it's still an imbalance. So an overactive, I feel, is still an insecurity. It's still an issue. You're still compensating for something. So it's time to open up that center, really work with it, and sit with it. What's hindering us is the Three of Wands. Interesting. So again, this is very much about the energy of stepping into this space. I think a lot of us have a lot of trauma around this, and we're not really even willing to look at it. There's a lot of shame around sexuality. There's a lot of shame around this, and so we don't want to step out. We don't want to fully commit to the journey of working through this energy. So I feel like that's what's really hindering us. And the main energy for the whole reading is the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like there's a desire to shift this. I feel like as a collective, we are in a shifting time. It's going to be easier for us to open this up because the planet is going to be nurturing it, and we're all collectively going to want to heal it. So I feel like even though there's a lot of resistance, there's going to be a shift in this. All right, so the other cards that came out here are the Page of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Interesting. So I feel like there's a lot of thoughts around this. The Page of Swords, I feel like, is about thought processes, but there's a bit of immaturity around it. I think there's an aspect of we're not really willing to get connected to the sacred honoring of this center. And I'm seeing that also because the Eight of Swords came up with this. So I feel like there's a trapping here. We feel trapped in society about how they feel about this center. We don't feel like we can really express this center in a healthy, loving, beautiful way. There's a lot of restriction around it. I think this comes into nudity. This comes into sexualizing the body. Even when it's not sexual, it's just us expressing and being comfortable in our bodies. There's a sexual and shame aspect. So I feel like we're feeling very trapped. So I feel like that's really important to understand. But the thing about the Eight of Swords is that idea of illusion. Is like, are you really trapped? Or are you allowing society to tell you what it is you need to do with your own body? And the other card that comes out here is Four of Cups. So I feel like there's an aspect of not being connected emotionally to this center. There's an aspect of lack. Maybe you don't feel like you can come to orgasm easily. Maybe you don't feel like you're at the place you want to be. Maybe you feel like there's not a sense of gratitude around this area. In fact, you find a lot of rejection in this area. You find that it's just not up to par. Maybe it's visually you don't like it. Maybe you don't feel you know how to use it properly. Maybe you don't feel like you're having a good time, or you don't like the creative expression you have coming out of this center. So I think there's an aspect of feeling like there's some lack there. So maybe look at that. See if it has to do with an actual lack, or maybe you're just not honoring that space within you and what it's here to actually create versus what you think it should be. So the other cards that came out of here is Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands is about honoring something being honored. So again, coming into this, I think we need to start stepping into our own energy of acknowledging this space and what it has to offer us, and really being thankful for that and really stepping into that. And then we have Five of Wands here. So again, this I think is coming up with the trauma around this sacred center, around the sexual center. There's a lot of agitation around it. There's a lot of grinding gears around it, and that's as a collective. So I think it's really important that we get centered in and we really start honoring this center. Of course, this totally makes sense that when you reject an aspect of yourself, it crumbles apart. It has a hard time functioning. So it's really time to, again, we're having a hard time committing into the journey. So I think it's time to finally say, you know what, this is an aspect of myself. It's here for a reason. Our bodies are built to be perfectly functioning systems. We don't have a system that's randomly not there for no reason. This is our expression and creative center, and it's time to get moving into that. And understand that as we want to manifest, anything we are manifesting comes out of this center. So if you're manifesting stuff that doesn't feel good, if you don't feel like your expression is really true to yourself, that's because this center isn't active. It's because you're not tapping into your own personal energy and letting that come forward. It's coming from the mind, it's coming from the ego, it's not coming from your true womb creative center. And as a side note, this center is your home base. This is the space where we come from, not only in our parents, but from ourselves. This is where our expression comes from. We're rooted into the earth, and then we express out here. So it's important that we get connected to this center, because all of our manifesting ultimately comes from this center. Yes, all the centers work together to create manifesting, but this is where it comes from. So it's important that we get into this and we start honoring this as an amazing creative space. This is where life literally comes from. Whether you're male or female, this is where life comes from in this physical world. And so we need to create an honoring space around this. This is a sacred space. It should be loved. It should be honored. It should be respected. This part of you is a magical center of goodness. It literally is magic. Like, this is where two cells can come together and literally create a whole new human being, or whatever it is you're trying to create. That's freaking amazing. If you like this reading, please head over to any of the platforms that you, or be on the platform that you see it on, and give it a follow. I try to post these every single day. Let me know down in the comments if this resonated with you. If it didn't, that's okay. It totally just means that you're on your own personal path, and that's amazing. Please let me know and share this with your friends and family if you feel that it was helpful. Many blessings, you guys. Mwah. Namaste, and don't forget, it's all about the soul journey. Bye.